જો એમાં આ વસ્તુ ક્યાંક છોડી દઈએ, that will be huge impact. કે બાય ડિફોલ્ટ શાળા પ્રવેશોત્સવ થતો હોય ત્યારે સ્કૂલની બહાર બોર્ડ લાગેલું જ હોય કે આ ટોબેકો ફ્રી ઝોન છે અને એના 100 વારમાં તમાકુ વેચવા પર પ્રતિબંધ છે. એ જ રીતે ગુણોત્સવ થશે. થોડા ટાઈમ પછી we will also have a sports event all over બધી સ્કૂલમાં. તો સ્પોર્ટ્સ ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ, નહેરુ યુવક કેન્દ્ર, એજ્યુકેશન ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ, એનસીસી બધાને સાથે રાખીને હાઉ વી કેન ફોકસ ઓન યુથ, બીકોઝ જો યુથમાં સ્ટાર્ટ નહીં થાય, so it will have a huge impact on our vision of Viksit Bharat by 2047. So it is very important. જેણે ચાલુ કર્યું છે ને છોડાવવું, it is very difficult, but it is easy if we can focus on kids and youth so they don't start it. So collectively, my best wishes for successful interactive program. I will also try to join once my commitment is over in next half an hour. My best wishes and looking forward to it. And as we know, the logo of tobacco control, जिंदगी पसंद करो तमाकू नहीं. So let's be a role model. None of us should start and ensure in our organization it is done, and we support each other for this thing. So best wishes again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bhavesh Modi. I still remember the days when we worked extensively in Ahmedabad for Kakaria also, and our GO-NGO partnership award from WHO. So under the leadership of Dr. Bhavesh Modi way back, we've done lots of activities, lots of initiatives which were one of its kind in Gujarat, and definitely I know it is very close to your heart as much as it is to ours as an organization. And tobacco control will see new scales once we start working with AIMS also in Rajkot. So thank you so much for your kind words and your instructions. I would now invite Dr. Rakesh Gupta from Sipher. He is the director of Sipher currently, and I would request him to give us an overview into the topic for today, and also the role of youth in how we can help in combating tobacco industry interference. I want to especially take this opportunity to thank Dr. Rakesh Gupta for introducing us to ECHO as a platform, wherein this is one of our first joint initiative or a joint webinar that we are doing, and inviting people from all across India as well as all the DTCCs in Gujarat. And in the coming days, we'll be using this platform more and more for exchange of knowledge in the field of medical and paramedical expertise. So over to Dr. Rakesh Gupta, and I would want him to kind of give us an overview. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Susan, for inviting us to be part of this event, this important event. And I must say thanks to Dr. Rana too, and Dr. Kathira, Dr. Bhavesh, Dr. Shivam, and Dr. Indra, who have joined as resource persons. Dr. Susan, can we have a snapshot before I begin? We can have a snapshot of all if they open up their videos.
Can you please stop screen sharing?
You can stop screen sharing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So all may please open up your videos so that we can have a snapshot. Dr. Sanchika, are you taking snapshots? Okay. So it's a good number, actually. 61 have already joined from DTCCs and state tobacco control. So that shows that how proactive they are in tobacco control. And Bhavesh Modi, I know since a decade, actually. He has been very active in tobacco control in Gujarat, and Susan also. So thank you. Thank you all. So I'd like to talk about, first I'll be talking about the enforcement of PICA, that is Prohibition of Electronic Cigarette Act. So that was being done by the government of Gujarat. So the main thing is that it is a very good practice that Director Revenue Intelligence is involved in enforcement of PICA 2019, which bans e-cigarettes by the government of India. So actually, Director Revenue Intelligence, they have done a very good job. And people and all stakeholder government departments, they are now sensitized to the provisions of PICA 2019, which bans electronic cigarettes, and the Department of Home Affairs and DRI, they have already booked the violators and seized illegal products. There are some challenges also faced in the implementation of this intervention. The tobacco industry, as you always know, that the tobacco industry is always against tobacco control. And now the new emerging nicotine tobacco products are there, are in the focus of the tobacco industry, which is marketing most of the electronic cigarettes, is interfering in enforcing the PICA 2019 and lobbying with high government functionaries to weaken the law. The front group tobacco industry, the so-called Farmers Union, protested against Gujarat state law banning electronic cigarettes. And they have even, the Gujarat government has even institutionalized the intervention, and that is a good thing about it. The government of Gujarat is sensitizing the general public about PICA 2019 banning electronic cigarettes and the stakeholder departments to act against the violators. This is also being done regularly, and they are monitoring. It is being monitored in SLCCs and DLCCs also. The Home Department officials are monitoring during the MCR meetings, that is monthly crime review meetings. That is a very excellent thing to do. DRI is regularly monitoring the seizure of these banned products in all the meetings of the officials, and it has got a translatory value also, and benefits to common people as a result of the intervention. The interventions in Gujarat, they have, as I told you, that it has got a translative value and can be replicated in all the states and the union territories. The general public, especially the young kids, they are benefited as they are saved from nicotine addiction and other health effects of the electronic cigarettes. As you know, that electronic cigarettes, they all contain the nicotine, which is the main addictive product in the tobacco also. And from top to bottom, because the nicotine is a vasoconstrictor, from top to bottom, it can affect all the parts of the body. So if you take a brain, it can lead to stroke. In addition to addiction, it can lead to stroke. And the nicotine can also lead to cancers, because these are they have got some cancer promoters, and it can lead to cancers also. It can lead to myocardial infarction, angina, and intermittent claudication. So head to toe, actually every part is affected. So you know about the hair losses there, and even the gangrene can occur. So the recommendation, that is summary of the entire case, if you take, and the lesson learned by the government, it has been taken by PGA Chandigarh as a good replicable practice. So that is and I must congratulate Susan and the team of the STCCs and the DCCCs for taking it very proactively. And the recommendations out of this good practices, that we must integrate monitoring and PICA 2019 compliance with the NTCP at the state and the district levels. State level committee should coordinate with the enforcement agencies in tracking down the electronic cigarettes, and raids should be conducted by the authorized enforcement agencies on kiosks, especially which are closer to the schools, to seize the banned electronic cigarettes countrywide, randomly, on a regular and a sustained basis. This is very important, that it has to be done very repeatedly, and it should not be a fixed time duration, like only on Mondays the raids are conducted, or the Tuesday the raids are conducted. Sensitization and training of the doctors and other healthcare professionals that is required to promote and practice the tobacco cessation according to the Indian requirements. The Western literature has put electronic cigarette as a aid to cessation, which is quite wrong, because it leads to the use of the electronic cigarette, that leads to use of the dual usage. Dual usage means when you can afford electronic cigarettes, you use electronic cigarettes, and when you can't afford because they are a little more expensive, then you can use normal cigarettes. So all stakeholder departments, including DRI, must be involved in the enforcing PICA 2019. And the lesson learned is that an awareness must be created in general public about the harms of the electronic cigarettes, and all stakeholder departments must act against the violations. So now, Susan, I think I should focus on this good practice of yours, the Gujarat. So over to you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing this intervention and experience that we have been into, and especially focusing on PECA, because that is an increasing menace these days, and especially taken as a fashion statement or a harm reduction strategy. So thank you so much for your introductory words, and sharing this important aspect of tobacco control in Gujarat, which has been initiated in collaboration with the various other departments like DRI and SOG police, etc. So thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. I would now want to introduce the speaker for the day, Dr. Shivam Kapoor. He's been very kind. Both of us are switching between two webinars, but he will be talking today on FCTC 5.3, and मैंने उनको रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि वो थोड़ा सा हिंदी और इंग्लिश में ब्लेंड करके हमारे DTCCs को ये समझाएं. 2022 में we have had a state order FCTC 5.3 का, and we are looking forward कि अभी FCTC 5.3 जो बहुत ही important है for tobacco industry interference को combat करने के लिए at the state level and at the district level. तो उस चीज का implementation बाकी जगह पे किस तरीके से हुआ है, क्या है FCTC 5.3, उसकी समझ हमें Dr. Shivam Kapoor देंगे. Dr. Shivam Kapoor is a technical advisor with the Vital Strategies in Delhi right now, and because I'm switching between two laptops, I have really missed his introduction slide, and I hope he'll forgive me for that and lead us further into understanding the topic for today and this year's theme specifically, wherein we are trying to protect children from tobacco industry interference. So, Dr. Shivam Kapoor, over to you.
Thank you, Susan. Namaskar sabko. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Susan, for this warm introduction, and a very good morning to everyone, especially all the participants. I see a lot of district level participation, and thank you, Dr. Rakesh, for that opening session. It's always a pleasure to hear, sir. I think all thanks to even Kathira sir for guiding us and having this session in place. So I'll jump to my topic here, although 20 minutes is hardly any time to take this. This should be a full day workshop, but I'll try to be quick, and I'll be open to questions at the end. So okay, तो आज हम चर्चा जो करने जा रहे हैं वो है आर्टिकल 5.3 और थोड़ा बहुत इंडस्ट्री इंटरफेरेंस के बारे में. I'll begin with this document. एक बहुत अच्छा ये डॉक्यूमेंट है जिसमें फ्रेमवर्क कन्वेंशन ऑफ टबैको कंट्रोल की बात की गई है पूरे विस्तार में. हम लोगों को जो आई थिंक यहाँ आज की बैठक है, हमें कुछ ऑलरेडी नॉलेज होगी कि ये एक ट्रीटी थी, एक ग्लोबल ट्रीटी थी जो कि साइन की गई थी और भारत भी इसका एक मेंबर रहा है. बट आई वुड रेकमेंड आप लोग ये डॉक्यूमेंट ऑनलाइन अवेलेबल है तो इसको पढ़ें तो समझ आएगा कि कैसे ग्लोबली इवेंट्स हुए और क्यों ये ट्रीटी साइन की गई. उसमें ही अलग अलग पहलू हैं, ट्रीटी के बहुत सारे पार्ट्स हैं, आर्टिकल्स हैं और उनका रोल इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है, ग्लोबली क्या ऐसी बातें थी जो ये आर्टिकल्स रचे गए. सो जैसे कि ये ग्लोबल ट्रीटी है एंड 192 कंट्रीज ने 2003 में से अडॉप्ट किया था और उसके बाद कुछ कंट्री ने इसे रैटिफाई किया. एंड इफ वी सी इंडिया में ऑलरेडी हमारे पास कॉटपा आ चुका था इसके रैटिफिकेशन से भी पहले। कॉटपा जो कि हमारा लॉ है, जो कि लेजिस्लेशन है, और उसके अंतर्गत बहुत सारे सेक्शंस हैं जिससे हम लोग फेमिलियर हैं, जिनकी हम बात करते हैं। सेक्शन 4, 5, 6 की हम ऑलरेडी बातें कर रहे होते हैं, 7 की। समवन हैज रेज्ड अ हैंड।
We can take that later.
ओके,
Until आपके
श्योर,
क्वेश्चन, हाँ, we can take that later.
ओके,
आप
थैंक
चैट में डाल दीजिए if you have any
Okay.
questions. Thank you.
या सो हाँ, तो हम बात कर रहे थे जैसे कॉटपा में बहुत सारे सेक्शंस हैं जिसके अंतर्गत हम आज जो कानून टबैको कंट्रोल के लिए बात करते हैं और उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं। वो जो सेक्शंस हैं वो एफसीटीसी के बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स पे बेस्ड है। तो जैसे कॉटपा सेक्शंस में डिवाइडेड है, ये मैं बहुत ही संक्षेप और सरल तरीके से बात कह रहा हूँ, बट इट्स अ लॉट मोर व्हेन वी सी दिस ट्रीटी। तो ट्रीटी के अंदर बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स हैं टू प्रोटेक्ट कंट्री एंड हाउ टू टबैको कंट्रोल को हम इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं। मोटे मोटे 2 तरह के मेजर्स बोले गए हैं इस ग्लोबल ट्रीटी में, जो कि है डिमांड रिडक्शन मेजर्स और सप्लाई रिडक्शन मेजर्स। ठीक है, सो उनके बेसिस पे कुछ कुछ सेक्शंस कॉटपा के भी आधारित है। सो उनमें पैरेलल्स होते हैं। सो जब हम इस ट्रीटी के प्रियम्बल को देखते हैं, इसमें 2 बातें प्रमुख तौर से बोली गई हैं कि द कंट्री, यहाँ पे वर्ड यूज करते हैं पार्टी, पार्टी मीनिंग द कंट्री नीड टू बी अलर्ट टू एनी एफर्ट्स बाय इंडस्ट्री एंड द कंट्री नीड्स टू बी इन्फॉर्म्ड ऑफ एक्टिविटीज ऑफ इंडस्ट्री दैट हैव नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट। तो ये जैसे हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में प्रियम्बल है, वैसे इस ट्रीटी में ये प्रियम्बल में 2 बातें बोली गई। Now, why I'm talking all of this, I'm giving some base to Article 5.3 क्या है, क्यों आया और हम क्यों इस पे चर्चा कर रहे हैं। तो ये जैसे एक डायग्राम है जिसमें हम कंपेयर कर रहे हैं। जैसे Article 8 of FCTC is what it talks is what we follow in Section 4 of COTPA. So similarly और जो आर्टिकल्स हैं वो हम COTPA में देखते हैं। लेकिन एक ऐसा आर्टिकल है जो कि है आर्टिकल 5, उसका सबसेक्शन है 3। तो आर्टिकल 5.3 है WHO FCTC ट्रीटी में, जो कि बहुत ही एक्सप्लिसिटली कॉटपा में अडॉप्ट नहीं है या ऑपरेशन की बात नहीं है। एक छोटा सा सेक्शन है, सेक्शन 2 इन कॉटपा, जिसमें इसका एक वेग मेंशन है, जिसमें हम ये पढ़ते हैं कि कैसे एक कंट्री इंडिया को इंडस्ट्री के तहत एज अ यूनियन गवर्नमेंट प्रोटेक्ट करना है। बट कैसे करना है इसको विस्तार से नहीं लिया गया है। तो इसीलिए आर्टिकल 5.3 को अब बहुत तरह से अडॉप्ट किया जा रहा है, कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवली अडॉप्ट किया जा रहा है, और उसमें क्या क्या चीजें वो हमें जानने के लिए जरूरी है। तो पहले देखते हैं आर्टिकल 5.3 कहता क्या है। सो व्हेन वी रीड this, it says that in setting and implementing the public health policies, ये context of country में बात की जा रही है। तो जब भी टबैको कंट्रोल के लिए जो भी पॉलिसी बना रही है कंट्री शेल एक्ट to protect the policy from commercial and other vested interest of industry in accordance with the national law। तो हमारे पास ऑलरेडी कॉटपा नेशनल लॉ है, उसको हमें एक सुरक्षा कवच देने के लिए इस आर्टिकल को अडॉप्ट करने की जरूरत है। तो इन अ वेरी सिंपल वे, दिस इज लाइक अ प्रोटेक्टर ऑफ द पॉलिसीज दैट द कंट्री हैज मेड फ्रॉम कमर्शियल एंड वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री। अभी कमर्शियल वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट जो इसमें टर्म यूज की गई है, दिस इज जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट इंडस्ट्री जो कि एक हानिकारक प्रोडक्ट बना रही है अपने यूजर्स के लिए, जो कि हम ऑलरेडी बहुत सारे टॉक्स में सुनते हैं दैट इट किल्स हाफ ऑफ इट्स यूजर्स। सो वो कभी भी पब्लिक हेल्थ के साथ हाथ से हाथ नहीं मिला सकती। Hence, this should be kept in mind, and from the industry's profitable motives, हमें अपने कंट्री के टबैको कंट्रोल पॉलिसीज को प्रोटेक्ट करना है। दिस इज द वेरी वेरी easiest way to explain this article. However, this article has remained at the margins of tobacco control globally, not just India. It is still that article of FCTC which is not very much exercised or adopted or implemented. Now talking about India, India ने क्या किया है? All credits to our government बिकॉज हमारे यहाँ नेशनल लेवल पे एक कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट अडॉप्ट किया गया है, जो कि आई थिंक सूजन ऑल्सो मेंशन्ड इन 2020 इंडिया ने, बट बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ ने अडॉप्ट किया था। अब ये कोड जो है ये इट्स ऑनलाइन अवेलेबल, यू ऑल कैन सी, और हम इस पे चर्चा एक मतलब वर्कशॉप में डिटेल में भी कर सकते हैं, बट टू अंडरस्टैंड नाउ ब्रीफली, इट इज अ कोड टू प्रोटेक्ट दोज हु आर एफिलिएटेड working for Ministry of Health and even the organization institution that are affiliated, any department, any personnel for MHFW. Now what it says in brief is that industry, tobacco industry के साथ अगर कोई भी if they approach Ministry of Health officials, institutions, there has to be a clearly explicitly defined objective to have that kind of meeting. They cannot just come directly and approach anyone, and if at all the ministry thinks that it is for the benefit of public health of the country, then they can allow. So after discussing, then it can be permitted to have such a discussion with the industry. And if at all this happens, it should be all transparent. Everything should be open in public. That's in very very brief. और काफी डिटेल में मीटिंग कैसे हो सकती है, क्यों हो सकती है। सो हमें ये जानना है दैट आर्टिकल 5.3 जो कि कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट के फॉर्म में इंडिया में सेंट्रल लेवल पे अडॉप्ट हुआ है, इट डजंट स्टॉप कि इंडस्ट्री कैन नॉट मीट द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और गवर्नमेंट officials or departments. It says the purpose has to be defined when it is felt necessary by the public officials, that it is in the good of public health of the country, public health interest of the country, then it can happen. And how it should happen, वो clearly defined है code of conduct में, steps दिए हुए हैं, guideline दी हुई है। बट इस कोड को अडॉप्ट करने से पहले इंडिया में ऑलरेडी बहुत सारी स्टेट्स थी जिन्होंने पीस मील अप्रोच ये अपनाई कि धीरे 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 करके या तो स्टेट लेवल पे या डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे ऑर्डर्स, नोटिफिकेशन या सर्कुलर निकाले जिसमें इन गाइडलाइंस को अडॉप्ट किया गया है। तो अब तक टोटल 22 स्टेट्स हैं जिसमें ये ऑर्डर स्टेट लेवल पे आ चुका है, और लगभग ऐसी 4 स्टेट हैं जिसमें डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल ऑर्डर्स भी आए हुए हैं। अब ये बहुत ही अलग अलग फॉर्मेट में, कहीं पे ऑर्डर्स 2 लाइन के हैं, कहीं पे 1 पैराग्राफ के हैं, कहीं पे 6 से 7 पेज के कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव ऑर्डर्स भी हैं। सो और कैसे ये प्रगति हो भी चुकी है, गुजरात में हमारी स्टेट में ऑलरेडी एक ऑर्डर है, तो we'll discuss all that and how we can learn from the best practices from all over the states, किसने क्या किया है, थोड़ा उस पे अब चर्चा करते हैं। सो जैसे कि हम अभी नाम देख रहे हैं, सबसे पहला जो एक स्टेट लेवल ऑर्डर आया था वो पंजाब में आया था 2016 में, और जो लास्ट ऑर्डर आया है वो नागालैंड में आया था 2023 में। सो अभी जैसे एक मैं आपके समक्ष ऑर्डर रख रहा हूँ, एक सर्कुलर था जो कि जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में आया था, आई थिंक दिस वाज 2017, और इसमें जैसे आप देखें इसमें कहीं भी 4 से 5 लाइन में ये बात की गई है सर्कुलर में, लेकिन कहीं भी आर्टिकल 5.3 को नहीं मेंशन किया गया है। करेक्ट, एक्सप्लिसिटली ये बात नहीं कही गई है कि क्या फॉलो करना है, क्या अडॉप्ट करना है। इसमें बोला गया है कि नॉट टू पार्टिसिपेट in industry activities and not to accept any trade or commerce. Okay, and ये कॉटपा को की बात करता है, उसको मेंशन करता है। सिमिलरली हमारे पास एक लेटर जो कि ऑलरेडी आया हुआ है, जिसके बेस स्टेट लेवल है ये, जो कि है गुजरात स्टेट में, जिसमें काफी अच्छे डिपार्टमेंट्स मार्क्ड हैं। इसमें आर्टिकल 5.3 की गाइडलाइंस को अडॉप्ट करने की बात भी कही गई है, और it takes into consideration that any collaboration with the industry is a clear attempt to breach WHO FCDC. So this is a very strong line, but again इसमें कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवली क्या गाइडलाइंस होनी चाहिए वो इस लेटर में नहीं है। सो कुछ और स्टेट्स के ऑर्डर्स भी देखते हैं जिसने कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवली अडॉप्ट किया है। अब कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव की जो बात करते हैं तो ऐसा क्या कंपोनेंट है, सो लेट्स सी फ्यू अदर ऑर्डर्स। सो अगेन मैंने यहाँ पे कुछ इसके ऑर्डर इसलिए रखे हैं जिससे हम समझ पाए कि उनमें क्या चीजें होती हैं। सो as you see, this is just one first page of the order. It starts with some introduction about FCTC, about COTPA, and then it talks about a formation of a committee like an empowered committee or special committee के if at all अगर इंटरफेरेंस होती है, टबैको इंडस्ट्री इंटरफेरेंस होती है, आर्टिकल 5.3 का वायलेशन होता है, तो क्या स्टेप्स लिए जाएं। तो उसके लिए एक एम्पावर्ड कमेटी की बात की गई है कि एक बैठक होनी चाहिए जिसमें मोस्टली जो उसको लीड करेंगे वो हो सकते हैं MD NHM हो सकते हैं या हेल्थ सेक्रेटरी हो सकते हैं या SNO हो सकते हैं। तो हर स्टेट ने अलग अलग दिए हैं और जैसे कि हमारी SLCC मेंबर्स होते हैं, सिमिलरली ऑल डिपार्टमेंट्स के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मेंबर्स भी इस एम्पावर्ड कमेटी के पार्ट हो सकते हैं। एंड सिमिलरली कुछ कुछ ऑर्डर्स इतने कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव हैं जिसमें बोला गया है, वही मीटिंग के पूरे स्टेप्स बताए गए हैं अगर इंडस्ट्री पर्सन के साथ की जाए, सो व्हाट प्रिकॉशंस एंड कॉशंस शुड बी टेकन एंड हाउ दीज मीटिंग नोट्स कैन बी be in public, and basically transparency measures and accountability is what should be followed. So just to see, जैसे हमने बहुत सारे स्टेट ऑर्डर्स देखे तो उनके पार्ट्स क्या हैं कॉम्प्रिहेंसिवली, जैसे उनमें अनेक्शंस में एक प्रोटोकॉल फॉर एम्पावर्ड कमेटी टू इम्प्लीमेंट दी गई है, एक गाइडलाइन दी गई है, प्रोसीजर टू कंडक्ट मीटिंग, कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट, एंड कुछ कुछ ऑर्डर्स में एक नोटिस टू विजिटर्स भी दिया गया है which can be adopted and implemented. A good practice, I'll show this notice as well, which is somewhat similar to what we have in section 4 CODPA, and this can be like implemented in government departments as a signage in the department showing that this state has implemented 5.3 policy guidelines, और अगर कोई भी violation होता है तो फला नंबर पे संपर्क करें. So I'll show these examples, and I think it is very good as well for our state of Gujarat to adopt, which can be the next step to make this order more robust and implemented. वेरी गुड रीसेंट डेवलपमेंट, अभी मैंने आपको शुरू में जम्मू एंड कश्मीर का ऑर्डर दिखाया था पिछली स्लाइड्स में. हाँ, यहाँ पे है ये ऑर्डर, तो ये देख रहे हैं सर्कुलर जैसे आया था, और अभी कल ही देखिए ये उसको एक्सटेंड करते हुए, उस सर्कुलर को एक्सटेंड करते हुए जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में ये ऑर्डर आया जिसमें एम्पावर्ड कमेटी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट किया गया. तो 7 साल बाद ये डेवलपमेंट है टू मेक इट मोर रॉबस्ट, और यहाँ पे आर्टिकल 5.3 का जिक्र भी करते हैं और पूरी एम्पावर्ड कमेटी के मेंबर्स को बताते हैं. सो सिमिलर थिंग कैन बी अगेन एम्प्लॉयड इन आवर स्टेट ऑफ गुजरात. So few good examples of implementation, जो मैं signages की बात कर रहा था. So from few states I am just discussing के क्या क्या practices अपनाई गई हैं. जैसे कि ये orders हैं उत्तर प्रदेश में, जैसे स्टेट लेवल ऑर्डर है उसके बाद डिस्ट्रिक्ट ने भी अपने अपने लेवल पे इसे इम्प्लीमेंट किया, और ये जैसे लेटर्स भेजे गए फ्रॉम डिस्ट्रिक्ट टू डिस्ट्रिक्ट डिपार्टमेंट्स एंड टू एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट टू डिस्प्ले दीज द स्टेट लेवल पॉलिसी ऑन देयर डिक्लेरेशन बोर्ड्स. तो ये एक वो नोटिस है जो कि हिंदी में यूपी में है ऑलरेडी, और बहुत सारी डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं जिन्होंने इसे अपने अपने रिस्पेक्टिव डिपार्टमेंट में लगाया. सो दिस इज फ्यू पिक्चर्स ऑफ दोज इम्प्लीमेंटेशन प्रैक्टिसेस. दिस इज बोर्ड फ्रॉम कर्नाटका, देख सकते हैं कन्नड़ा में और इंग्लिश में है, एंड एट द एंड इट ऑल्सो मेंशन्स द ईमेल आईडी एंड फोन नंबर के किसे कॉन्टैक्ट करें. सिमिलरली इन स्टेट ऑफ केरला अगेन फ्यू गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट जहाँ पे ये लगाए गए. एक अच्छी प्रैक्टिस जो कि एमपी के ऑर्डर में है, मोस्ट ऑफ द ऑर्डर्स जो मैंने आपको 22 स्टेट्स की बात करी वो हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट से हैं. हालांकि एमपी में क्या है कि जो ऑर्डर पहला आया था वो हायर एजुकेशन से आया था, ये आप देख सकते हैं. सेकंड ऑर्डर जो था वो आया हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट से. सो नॉट जस्ट हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट शुड ओन इट, अदर डिपार्टमेंट शुड ऑल्सो. सो नाउ इन गुजरात व्हेन वी हैव इट इन हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट, we should have other departments also that adopt these policy guidelines. So that can also be a good implementation practice. Other thing about good practices to have a conflict of interest declaration. I think Susan ने आपके साथ ये share भी करा होगा, और it's more like a template that we can adopt, जिसका basis सिर्फ ये है at institutional level, at government level, at organizational level. और ये मैंने कुछ एग्जांपल्स दिए हुए हैं जिसमें सारे नेशनल स्टेट लेवल इंस्टीट्यूशन जिन्होंने ऑलरेडी अडॉप्ट किया हुआ है. बेसिकली अपने वेबसाइट पे एक डिक्लेरेशन जैसा देना कि हम इंडस्ट्री के साथ कुछ भी डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली जुड़े हुए नहीं हैं, हम कोई फंडिंग नहीं ले रहे हैं. सो ऐसी चीज भी एक गुड प्रैक्टिस हो सकती है. तो हम गवर्नमेंट के जितने डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं गुजरात में वहां पे एफिलिएटेड डिपार्टमेंट जितने हैं वहां पे भी ऐसी चीजें डाल सकते हैं. So Susan already has that kind of template, and I'm sure she would have shared with you. Otherwise, I'll be happy to share it with whoever. Susan, abhi it's been 15 minutes and we have done 5.3. I can speak more for 5 minutes on industry interference if you want. Do we have time?
Yes, yes, we do. Yes.
ओके. सो अभी तक हमने पूरा क्योंकि मुझे बताया गया हमारे पास सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफिशियल्स हैं, तो हमने ऑर्डर की बात करी थी. नाउ टू अंडरस्टैंड अ बिट कि ये ऑर्डर इंटरफेरेंस क्या है एंड हाउ दिस ऑर्डर कैन वर्क, तो आई जस्ट शेयर फ्यू एग्जांपल्स विद यू. तो पहले चीज तो हमें ये जानना है, जब हम टोबैको इंडस्ट्री की बात करते हैं, इंडस्ट्री क्या है. इंडस्ट्री क्या है? एक फैक्ट्री है जहां पे प्रोडक्ट्स बन रहे हैं, कोई कंपनी है. सो इंडस्ट्री एक ब्रॉड टर्म है जिसमें कंपनीज के साथ जुड़े हुए वो सारे लोग, वो सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, वो सारी वॉइसेस जो कि इसको यूजर की तरफ पहुंचाते हैं, दे बिकम पार्ट ऑफ इंडस्ट्री. तो बहुत सारे थर्ड पार्टी ग्रुप्स, बहुत सारे सप्लाई चेन में जो लोग जुड़े हुए हैं, इवन द साइंटिस्ट एंड लॉयर दैट सेल अ प्रोडक्ट टुडे, दैट मार्केट अ प्रोडक्ट, और मे बी दे क्लेम साइंटिफिक रिसर्च. डॉक्टर राकेश इनिशियली ई सिगरेट के बारे में बता रहे थे, जो ऐसा प्रोडक्ट है जिसके लिए बहुत सारे दो पहलू हैं कि रिसर्च कहीं आप पढ़ें किसी और देश की, वो बोलती है कि नहीं बहुत अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है और सेसेशन में हेल्प करता है. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ प्लॉयज जो कि इंडस्ट्री से फंडेड होते हैं, वो भी टबैको इंडस्ट्री के पार्ट होते हैं. सो WHO डेफिनेशन जब देखें तो इसमें वो सारे लोग आते हैं जो कि इस बिजनेस में वैल्यू प्रोवाइड करते हैं, वैल्यू चेन का पार्ट होते हैं. सो सिर्फ ये नाम ITC DS ग्रुप ये इंडस्ट्री नहीं है, ये कंपनी है, बट इनके साथ जुड़े हुए जितने लोग इस फ्लैगशिप में आएंगे, they become part of industry. Okay, so if we see what is interference and how marketing or promotion sponsorship can become interference, this is a very simple example. जैसे ये एक आपको मैं स्टैम्प दिखाया है, इंडियन स्टैम्प है, ये लास्ट ईयर रिलीज हुआ था, 5 रुपए का स्टैम्प. अब इसमें आप देख सकते हैं एक इंडिया पोस्ट की लोगो के साथ ITC का इतना बड़ा लोगो दिख रहा है. So this is where when industry or any sector tries to have linkages with government for various reasons, for benefits, for co-partnering, they get the same stage, it can lead to industry interference when this marketing goes to next step or joining hands with government. So yahan pe if you see in the picture a government official along with ITC professional having the same stage and launching a stamp, this is problematic, and this is what can lead to favors to the government in variety of ways and can classify into industry interference. So बहुत सारे ऐसे examples हैं. I'll jump to I think one good example of industry interference, एक इंडिया लेवल पे और एक बेसिक ग्रास रूट लेवल पे जो हमारी डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे भी हमें समझ आए. सो ये एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल ऑफ इंटरफेरेंस है और कैसे इसे रोका गया. आज जैसे आपको सबको पता है कि हमारी पिक्टोरियल हेल्थ वार्निंग जो है वो 85% है फ्रंट एंड बैक फॉर ऑल टबैको प्रोडक्ट्स. पर ये क्या बहुत आसानी से आ गया था? जो लोग ऑलरेडी टबैको कंट्रोल में वर्क कर रहे हैं, आप सब लोग, आपने वो देखा होगा कि वो पिक्टोरियल हेल्थ वार्निंग पहले बहुत छोटी थी. पहले सिर्फ पिक्चर था और डेंजर पिक्चर था, एंड देन इट इवॉल्व्ड एंड चेंज्ड एंड देन इट हैज रीच्ड टू दिस लॉ व्हिच वी हैव टुडे. बट इसको आने में इंडस्ट्री ने बहुत इंटरफेयर किया, बहुत अपोज किया, एंड दैट इज अ क्लासिक एग्जांपल ऑफ इंडस्ट्री इंटरफेरेंस. तो जब ये 2014 में ऐसा हो रहा था, बहुत सारे एफर्ट्स मारे गए थे बाय इंडस्ट्री इन डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली. उस टाइम पे एक CJ ग्रुप था जो कि लार्जेस्ट बीडी मेकर इन इंडिया था. They had shown extraordinary interest. Already it had 30% stake in the government owned more than 30% stake in the CJ group. So that was a conflict of interest. There were a lot of letters that were written not to have this 85% directly, or by a lot of associations, federations. They were like BD Industry Federation, Virginia Tobacco Grower Association. Then there were a lot of front groups like, TII was there, Tobacco Institute of India, CII, Association Chamber, ASSOCHAM. These were writing and opposing all that. So this was again front group way to interfere in this policy change which was about to happen. There were a lot of letters that were written directly to ministry by BD Association and Retailer Group, and at the same time there were a lot of lawsuits that were happening. A lot of 60 cases were filed only in Karnataka High Court कि ये नहीं होना चाहिए, with multiple arguments कि government को tax नहीं मिलेगा, revenue नहीं आएगा. So ultimately, this is how industry acts. But again, all this was opposed, and thankfully, thanks to our ministry and all the departments, this was a victory, a win. So this is a clear example of how industry interference can happen. One very simple example, because we have district level officials, for you to keep an open eye, and then I'll close this presentation after. So this is one example which we can monitor in, whenever we do field visits. It is from state of Karnataka, from Bengaluru rural district. So if you see, this is a school, a yellow building is there. And these are toilets which have painted ITC Mission Sunera Kal. So I'm not blaming or targeting a particular industry here, but what is problematic here is that as part of CSR flagship, they put their industry logo, which is quite glorified. Now, when we found out this is a government school, and then there had been certain MOUs as part of CSR flagship, but this state, Karnataka, had its Article 5.3 policy in place. So this, because it's a powerful policy and this is a violation of this policy, such simple measures can be taken to stop this interference. And finally, when this was put out, from state cell to the necessary department, and the government school then had taken this off. So, and of course, later we found out a lot of schools have this. So I think this is a very good example of how Article 5.3 policy can be used. And this is just one simple example. There are multiple examples where, this policy can be made use of. So yeah, I think I'll just stop here. I think what we should know that to have a policy, adopt the policy guideline is not enough. Implementing it and keeping a close eye on monitoring industry's activities is what we should focus on. And that's what today's this year's theme is as well, to protect our youth from tobacco industry interference. But of course, this is a very, very brief session. I'll be happy to discuss more how we can, adopt in our state of Gujarat and make it a, powerful policy to be implemented. Thank you. I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shivam, for giving us an understanding. हमें ये समझाने के लिए कि टोबैको इंडस्ट्री कैसे स्ट्रेटेजिकली पॉलिसी लेवल पे हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट के साथ, एजुकेशन डिपार्टमेंट के साथ वगैरह के साथ पार्टनरशिप करके थ्रू देयर फ्लैगशिप प्रोग्राम्स वगैरह through initiatives like this is influencing a lot of youngsters in our state as well. So we have Dr. Rana with us right now, and I will request Dr. Rana also to share his. Dr. Rana is our Deputy Director, Regional Director for Vital Strategies. Thank you, Dr. Rana, for sparing your few minutes, and I would request you to please share your valuable insights and experiences about FCTC 5.3 and how tobacco industry is impacting children through a strategized move. Over to you, Dr. Rana. Sir, you need to unmute. Yes. Sir, I can't hear you. You need to unmute, sir. You need to unmute, sir.
डॉक्टर राणा आप ना म्यूटेड हो, आप म्यूटेड हो.
Okay. Dr. Sanchika, maybe you have to give him the rights to unmute. Okay. Let me try.
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, the host has muted me
Ghost has muted. Yes, I
So that
agree.
was it was from your side.
Ji.
So thank you very much once again, respected Dr. J.M. Khatria, Deputy Director, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Gujarat. Ms. Susan, Director Programs from Faith Foundation, my colleagues, Dr. Shivam Kapoor. I think, again, excellent collaboration with the ECO and Sipher team. So it's good to see that work from Sipher, it is now expanding. So I see Dr. Sanchika and Dr. Rakesh Gupta ji and all the district level officials, all the stakeholders. So thank you very much, and congratulations on starting this series, webinar series. Good to see the subjects, really very important. We have been talking about areas like tobacco burden, role of various stakeholders, WHO, FCTC, Empower, but I think monitoring of tobacco control policies. So I think all the 3 days webinars focusing on anti-tobacco laws, nicotine protection laws, tobacco industry interference, newer areas, newer opportunities, which we call as tobacco vendor licensing, and finally, very important area of tobacco cessation. So, so I think all these are very important subjects, and it's time to work.
Is it network at the SIR's end or?
And why it is important. I still remember one thing, that if we want to, let me see, yes. So there was some interruption. Yes. So I have heard something which is very important related to getting progress in tobacco control and reduction of prevalence. That if we want to reduce tobacco use prevalence, we need to see that there is no or negligible tobacco industry interference in our work. So that is very crucial. Dr. Shivam has already explained about the current status of FCTC Article 5.3 at sub-national level as well as at national level. We have a code of conduct given to us by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So we need to see that we are able to protect our tobacco control policies as per guidelines of FCTC 5.3. So in that way, I once again, congratulations. I don't have anything to add at this stage. So best wishes for all the 3 webinars, and I will try to join whenever possible.
Thank you, Dr. Rana. Thank you so much for your insights and your gracious words. I will now put this platform. Okay, I will request once for all to put on their cameras so that we can take a screenshot. And uske baad, we will leave this platform open for the experts to answer questions, especially Dr. Shivam answering it, Dr. Rana. And if you have any specific questions for Dr. Bhavish Modi or Dr. Rakesh Gupta, we'll be glad to answer. Can we have everyone put on the screen, please? Madam Sanchika Gupta has also shared the feedback link and request everyone to kindly send in your feedback also. If we need any more instructions or IC related to this topic, we will be glad to share with you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. This platform is now open for the experts to answer questions. हमने आज यही समझने की कोशिश की कि टोबैको इंडस्ट्री कैसे हमारे यूथ को टारगेट कर रही, कैसे हमारे बच्चों को टारगेट कर रही है, पॉलिसी लेवल प्रोग्राम्स लाकर या फिर पार्टनरिंग विद और वगैरह। Questions? Maybe I can. इसमें कोई questions है क्या? Did you read any questions on this? Chat में कोई questions है?
No question at the moment. You can ask participants the question.
Yes, I request the participants to please pose their questions.
If there are no questions, we
After
can have
districts,
at
DT
least the comments upon the presentation of Dr.
And,
Shivam. It was an excellent presentation. So people
जी,
may
I-
like to comment upon that.
DTCCs में से हमारे साथ जो ज्वाइन हुए हैं EMOs या CDHOs या सोशल वर्कर्स, अगर आप क्वेश्चंस अभी नहीं करना चाहते तो आप कमेंट कर सकते हैं कि आप इसके बारे में और क्या जानना चाहते हैं या फिर कैसे हम इसको डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे इम्प्लीमेंट करें। अगर कोई डिस्ट्रिक्ट इस चीज का इनिशिएटिव लेना चाहते हैं, दे कैन पोज इट इन द DTCC DLCC मीटिंग एंड वी कैन कम डाउन विद टू द डिस्ट्रिक्ट एंड हेल्प respective districts to implement 5.3 as well. So,
Susan,
agar,
I think Dr. Aruna is with us. She's always ready with the comments.
hello, ma'am.
And she's very experienced in tobacco control.
Yes, ma'am. We would love your comments, please. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Shivam, for sharing such a rich presentation on the tobacco industry interference. Like, I have one question which was posed by one of the youth during one of the sensitization program. So, like, the one is the like sugar and tobacco, the most attractive and the addictive components. Okay, the candies, which is again they are also more appealing to the children. So, like when they banned the cotton candies in Goa and other few other states, saying that it contains a potential hazardous coloring material. So then after the sensitization workshop, then say, see, you say that there are so many risks and the hazards associated with the tobacco, which are not only limited to the user and the people around us, environmental, social, economic, all these things risk you are mentioning. Why like the government is not taking any initiative to ban this particular product? This was asked by a child, I'm telling you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I think any workshop or any talk which we have in tobacco control, it's never complete if we don't have this question. I see Dr. Rakesh is already smiling. This has witnessed this question much longer since we were adopted until date, and that's the irony that 20 years down the lane we still have the same question. Yeah, there's no one line answer here, but yeah, I think whatever I've learned from my seniors and the discussions whichever I have attended in my experience, firstly to say this, that government is not doing anything is wrong. If we compare India from as a country to other countries on the global map of tobacco control, India is much ahead of a lot of countries, thanks to our Ministry and Ministry of Health leading this. We have a good law, we have adopted it, we are implementing it. It's not 100%. That is the challenge. That is where we all are ekjut and trying our level best. So it's as simple as an example which we hear, that हेलमेट पहनना नेसेसरी है, पर क्या सड़क पे सब लोग बाइक चलाते हुए हेलमेट पहनते हैं? So that's where implementation of law comes in place. But now to answer to this very serious question, because we know it is a health hazard, so why not ban it? So I think because यहाँ पे the answer remains that there are many sectors involved in this. Currently, the position that we have in India, there's a conflicting, what should I say, conflicting focus of two ministries we see. We have health, where it is leading tobacco control, but at the same time we have MOIC, where this is a crop which brings economy to the country, where it is considered next to tea and coffee, and for the sole purpose of export. So this is a conflicting interest, that we have a ministry that is promoting tobacco control, and we have a law in place for that, but it is not a totally banned product yet, because it is seen to give export or to bring that to the country. So that's where we still do not have. I think that will be the ultimate goal. That is the ultimate goal, but still we are controlling tobacco. We are not banning it. That's nowhere in our law at this stage. But yeah, Dr. Rakesh or Dr. Anna, sirs are, I listen to them. So if they would like to add more, I'll be very happy. Yeah. Dr. Rakesh, you're mute. You're on mute.
I think this question is, as Shivam has said, it always crops up in all the meetings. And the answer is that the conflict of interest between many ministries and many other stakeholders, because no one wants to miss on the tobacco, profits, really. So that is the reason. And very high up, people very high up, politicians, they are involved in tobacco industry. So it is not that difficult to stop producing tobacco. I think that is the answer,
In
the
that
simplest
case,
answer I
like,
can.
yeah, I would mention even the betel nuts, because many of these hospitals also, especially in Karnataka, like they have been owned by these betel nut growers and merchants. So when we speak of tobacco cessation also, like, it's okay. Like,
You see, Pranab Mukherjee, who was our president, and in his constituency, there were maximum BD workers, maximum BD factories were there. So it is really difficult to stop producing these tobacco products.
thank you. Thanks, Dr. Shivam.
Susan, do you want me to show a picture of all the new emerging nicotine products? Just one picture.
Yes, sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay,
Sure.
Lord.
It is very important because a lot of them have not seen e-cigarettes कैसी होती है करके.
Okay,
आप दिखा दीजिए. ये डॉक्टर राकेश
एक
हमारे
second.
साथ वो प्रोडक्ट शेयर कर
Can
रहे
you
हैं.
see?
यस,
अभी
वेरी
देख
मच.
सकते हो आप क्या?
हाँ जी सर,
अच्छा.
आप इसका
Full screen करना है, sir.
स्क्रीन
हाँ,
फुल
full
कर
screen कर
दीजिए.
दो.
हाँ जी.
क्योंकि आप Gujarat is already acting against electronic cigarettes, so I thought that I must show you all the new emerging products. So these are the different kinds of electronic cigarettes. You see, so colorful, and they look like some of them. They look like pen drives, and these are the
Yes.
nicotine pouches. So आपने cool lip तो देखा होगा ना? So that is tobacco mixed with the actually tobacco has got nicotine. और उसमें flavors होते हैं और sugar sweeteners भी होते हैं उसमें. So this is nicotine pouch. So this is pure nicotine. Zin के नाम से है, and this is also available, but drug and cosmetic के अंदर it is not allowed legally. Okay, so drug inspectors can act against, or अभी हम उनको drug safety officers शायद बोलते हैं, so they can act against such products. अच्छा, HTPs क्या, IQS आपने नाम शायद सुना हो, Philip Morris वाला ये बना रहे हैं. So these are basically tobacco products because they are electronically operated. So they have been banned under PICA. So we are lucky that Government of India has banned IQS under PICA. तो ये different brands भी होंगे इसके, but these are heated tobacco products. और ये क्या है? Tobacco, हाँ, toy pods हैं ये, toy pods. ठीक है? They look like toys, but they are actually electronic cigarettes. Snooze है. Snooze, I think, is basically just like cool lip. और इसको ना upper lip और gum के बीच में ये डालते हैं और then they keep it. तो nicotine का जो है किक उसमें it's always available. So ये देखो nicotine hand gels भी available है. Toy pods का तो मैंने बता ही दिया. ये क्या है? I don't, ये गलत इन्होंने किया है, but I think this is another product. और ये dissolvable nicotine products हैं, like nicotine sticks. ऑब्स, पैलेट स्ट्रिप्स, तो इसको भी आप डिसॉल्व करके मुंह में, और इसको इसका निकोटिन का जो इफेक्ट इसमें भी आता है। ये निकोटिन गमीज है ऊपर जो है ना, these are not toy pods, these are nicotine gummies. So these are the new emerging tobacco products. It may not be available in India, all the products, but I think you need to be aware of these products. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh. Thank you, sir. Actually, बहुत सारा teachers and parents are confused every time whether it's a pen or something else, and it is always smoker in outside the home or outside the school. So they get confused and they do not realize that these are harmful products that their children are having, and eventually when they get hooked onto it or come up with some complications, tabhi realize hota hai ki okay, they've been having such a product which was never seen by them or understood by them. So thank you so much for showing those images.
I'll suggest you that you must meet that Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So chairpersons are unko milna chahiye, because they can implement the JJ Act also. They have police with them, or and they also visit some schools and school people. They tell them that in the bags they get such toy pods or e-cigarettes. They are still they are available now. Online, if not available offline, they are available online.
Right, sir.
और social media पे भी इसको ना काफी advertisement होती है.
जी sir, इनको हम approach कर रहेंगे. Thank you so much for the suggestion, sir. So if we do not have any more questions now, I think we are almost on time, and it has been a very fruitful session. DTCC से हमारे State Tobacco Control Cell से हमारे साथ Dr. Katira जुड़े थे, Dr. Rana, Dr. Rakesh Gupta, Dr. Shivam, Dr. Bhavesh Modi, Madam Sanchika, all the DTCC officials जो हमारे साथ join हुए हैं, CDHOs, EMOs, social workers, counselors, all the other participants from various other agencies and states also. Thank you so much for joining us. इस topic पे अभी हमें बात करना बहुत जरूरी है. We need to start talking and strategizing techniques at personal levels, district levels, institutional levels, and also at the state levels as a responsible citizen. So thank you so much once again. Dr. Shivam Kapoor ने अपना email ID chat में डाला हुआ है. अगर इसी related आप district level पे कोई activity करना चाहते हैं या फिर workshop करना चाहते हैं, we can technically support. So once again, I would like to thank everyone who has made this webinar possible. Thank you so much for joining us on the first day. Tomorrow we are talking about tobacco free educational institutions and also other nicotine laws, and especially anti-tobacco laws and nicotine laws in India by Dr. Rakesh Gupta. And we will also be talking about one fact sheet which is on BD consumption in India, and especially the Gujarat chapter of it. So once again, thank you one and all for joining us in this wonderful webinar. We will see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock also, and we will discuss further on topics related to youth and children, especially the theme this year. So once again, thank you for joining us on the 3-day webinar series on the occasion of WNTD, organized by Faith Foundation, supported by State Tobacco Control Cell, also supported by Strategic Institute of Public Health Education and ECHO India. Thank you so much, one and all. If you have any questions, you can email us and you can leave it back in the chat. Thank you. Thank you, Sanchika ma'am. You may close.
Thank you. Yeah, I will do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.